What's up, freaks and geeks? Welcome back to Low Res DIY. So, in our last video, we installed uh, what's it called? Oh, Pi-hole, and we added a few more block lists to it, and then we went in and set it up as our DNS server for our router, and we added a couple local domain names. But because of the way things work, we couldn't use those with all of the apps that we have installed in TrueNAS Scale. Well, we're going to solve that problem with this video here by installing Traefik. But couple things I want to go over before we get started is one, the apps that I did videos on prior to this, the ones that are the supported apps by IX Industries or whatever, those will not work with this. So you'll have to install TrueCharts, and you'll have to use the TrueCharts version of that app. Really simple to set up, pretty much the exact same thing as before, but it is just more options that you have to click through. And the second thing is that this is for local domains. This is not for anything serious. This is for like at home, playing around in your lab, things like that. If you're a business, don't be using this to do your restaurant finances on, because you'll be susceptible to a man in the middle attack. If they can get into your network and they can get in there, they'll be able to see everything. But if you're just kind of interested in setting a few local domains up and how everything works together, stick around. Okay, so let's have a quick look at what we're actually going to do. So in our last video, we installed Pi-hole, and we told it, hey, couple local domain names, and it would take us there. But when it came to coming back to our TrueNAS Scale server, you would give it the domain name, and you could only throw one IP address at it. Well, then it didn't know what to do, what port it was on, or anything like that. So we had our router, sent our DNS, made Pi-hole our DNS server. It knows that if it sees plex.local, it needs to go to website or to IP address 192.168.1.237 or whatever you have hooked up, and it will send that through to that server. Well, if Traefik isn't there, it will not know where to send that traffic. But once we get Traefik set up, it'll see, okay, you want to go to plex.local. I know where that port is, and it will send it out to that, and then Plex will come through on your web browser, and you'll be able to utilize it for whatever you need it for. But what we're going to need to do is we'll just install Traefik, quick easy install, and then that's pretty much it for that guy right there. We'll have to change a few ports, but that's no big deal. And then when you install your app, there'll be a section in there called ingress, and you will give it your domain name. Plex.local is what we'll probably use. Then you'll save it, and after it's done saving and deploying and everything, it will go out and say, hey, Traefik, if you see plex.local come through, we requested it, DNS server sent it on to Traefik sees plex.local, send that traffic over to me. And he'll say, sure thing, buddy, on its way. So hopefully that makes sense. If not, hopefully as we go through this, it'll all come together and make sense afterwards. So let's jump over onto the server and get started doing this. All right, now that we're logged on, the first thing we're going to need to do is over here in the left toolbar, we'll hit System Settings, and then we're going to go to General. And what we're going to do is click on Settings right there. So we'll click on it, and what we're wanting to change are these two guys right here. Web interface HTTP port and web interface HTTPS port. And the reason we're going to change them is because when Pi-hole sends a local DNS request through, Traefik is going to need it to come through on 80 and 43. But if we have our TrueNAS Scale GUI set up for that, it's just going to stop it and block it. So what we're going to do is we'll change that to 81. We'll change this to 44. Scroll down, you click Save. And it's going to ask you to restart the web service, so you confirm it. You hit Continue. And then you're going to get this guy right here. You'll notice up here in the top, it attached our new port of 444. So log back on. And now we need to go to apps. So you'll see that Plex, I deleted the other one we had on and I put the TrueCharts version of it on. We'll go to available applications, Traefik. That's a tough one to say with my, yeah. All right, so copy, paste, next, controller, next, container configuration, next, app configuration, next, network and services. This is where we're going to want to change them. These two guys right here, 9443 and 9080, we're going to change those and we're going to make it 80 and we're going to make it 443. So that's all we need to do there. Next, we're going to ignore ingress, security and permissions, nothing there. Next, resources, and we're just going to click next all the way through. And now we just need to kick back and let it deploy. All right, it has deployed. Let's go ahead and click open, and there you go. It's up and running. So that part's done. Next, we're going to go to the app that you want to have a local domain, and we're going to click on the three buttons here. And we're going to click edit. We're going to scroll down to ingress and we're going to enable ingress. Then we're going to add a configure host and we're going to call it plex.local. And you need to go ahead and click add. We're not going to add anything here, but this needs to be open. We're going to copy this guy. We're going to scroll down and configure TLS settings. We're going to add it. We're going to hit add, and we're going to paste in the exact same thing, plex.local. Now, if you had a domain name going through Let's Encrypt, this is where you would put your cert in there. But from what I understand, you can go ahead and use the TrueNAS default certificate. It's a self-signed certificate from TrueNAS. It is not as good as having an actual certificate from Let's Encrypt or something like that, but from what I understand, it does something. What, I don't know, but it helps out in some way. So we're just going to pick it. If you don't pick it, it doesn't make a difference, but it's there. So let's go ahead and choose it. Then we're going to hit save. All right, give this guy a couple times. Oh, it's already popped up. So let's open another tab and let's just type http plex.local and see what happens. Thinking about it. Nothing. It doesn't know where to go. And the reason it doesn't know where to go is because we didn't set up our local domain name in Pi-hole. So let's go to Pi-hole and you'll scroll down to local DNS. We're going to click on DNS Records. This will come up. We're going to type in plex.local. And then we're going to give it the IP address of our TrueScale server. And we're going to click add. And down here at the bottom, you'll see it added it in. Now let's see how quickly it picks it up. All right, so it found it, but of course the certificate's, an official certificate's not there. So you're going to get this error every time. So hit advanced and then proceed to Plex. Bam. There it is. It worked. Pi-hole knew what the local domain name was, where to send it, to which server. It got to that server. It went through the port 80 or 443 and hit Traefik. Traefik said, hey, I know where this is. Here you go. And it served it up for us. So It is actually just that easy. And like I was saying, I am going to, I've never really fooled around a lot with certificates or TLS or any of that. I'm going to work on that to see if there's a way we can set one up for local domains in TrueNAS Scale. If I get it figured out, that will hopefully it'll be the next video, but if it's not, hopefully it'll be coming soon. And all right, so just to reiterate one last time, this is not for production use. Don't put your company's information on there, your finances or anything like that. This is just kind of like a learning tool for us to get a little closer to the endpoint. You know, some people don't want to go out and get a domain name, but they still want to have access like this with a local domain name. And hopefully we'll go ahead and get that security, that TLS certificate figured out if we got to make a VM or whatever we have to do, but eventually we'll get there. So if that interests you and you want to know how to do that, reach down, hit that subscribe button, and if you like the video, hit that like button also, and catch you later.